What's up everybody, welcome back to the vlog. So I posted an FC video and you guys seem to really like it, so I decided to do some more work to the car. We're pulling it in right now, gonna put it up on some jack stands, and I got some special parts from Part Shop Max or PBM, and just gonna start on that process and try and get this thing back on the road. These are the bushings that I got from PBM. This is the trailing arm bushing, so there's 4 of these. I believe that this is the subframe bushing. I'm not 100% sure. I'm gonna have to double check on that, but I'm pretty sure that's a subframe bushing. This is the front diff bushing, and then these are the rear diff bushings. It's like there's an arm, you'll see it, but there's an arm and then there's 2 bushings that go in it, and these are the 2 things you need for the diff, but it's recommended to do all of this stuff just because when you make one thing solid, you need to make everything solid so there isn't flex in any of the arms or mess up your steering geometry. I'm gonna put the FC up on some jack stands now so we can figure out exactly what we need to disconnect, and I am pulling the whole thing out together. So what I mean by that, as in together, is the coilovers, all the arms, nothing is getting disconnected until it's actually on the floor, just to make it easier for when I'm taking it out and then putting it back in, and I don't have to mess with a whole bunch of bolts and make my life 10 times harder. All right, so I was pulling the exhaust off, as you can see, but I don't know if you can see it from right here. Yeah, you can. Okay, so there's a little donut thing right there, and that's the last little thing that's holding the exhaust on. But I've never taken this exhaust on or taken it off or put it on with the bumper on. And the reason why it's so hard right now is this donut is being stretched because the exhaust is actually being held up by, or being pushed down by, the bumper. So I can't push the exhaust up any higher than it already is to be able to get that donut off, and the only other way is to cut it. So I decided that I'm gonna do what I really didn't wanna do, is take this rear bumper off, because it really sucks because I have to take the rear taillights off and do a whole bunch of stupid stuff. Super annoying having to take the taillights out, but the bumper is now off, and hopefully this exhaust comes out easy. Now that I can see the caliper, what I'm gonna do is just disconnect these 2 bolts right here and pop the whole caliper off so I don't have to re-bleed my brakes or anything. And then I'll probably just zip tie those up to the left, and then we can start undoing stuff from the bottom of the car, and these coilovers up here. Forgot about these, gotta get these too. Just so you guys know, I've never done subframe bushings, and I've pulled out the subframe on my FD before with a couple friends, but I've never done it by myself, so it's definitely a little more challenging not being able to like have an extra set of hands or anything. So I'm gonna go step by step. Might not be able to get it all done today, but I'm definitely gonna try my hardest to make sure everything's dropped out so I can at least clean all the parts so there isn't grease all over them for when I put them back in. All right, boys, we're in close quarters right now, but taking the drive shaft off right now. I have almost everything disconnected up over here that I know I need to disconnect. Got those brake calipers off, the wheels are off, obviously. Pretty much everything's loose. It's just gonna be the subframe bushings, and then everything should drop down. We were having some serious trouble trying to get that last, or the first one actually, the first subframe bushing bolt off. I don't know. So my idea, grab some MAP gas, heated that up, and it came off.
It was a good idea. It was a
really good idea.
He heated it up for a couple minutes, you know, and then he got the impact and it just came right off.
You know, it's because I'm a mechanic, so.
Since when?
Since forever. So I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm a mechanic, and we're gonna get the rest of the subframe out. Someone called you out on my last video and said he got those glasses for 15 bucks off Amazon.
That's big, man. Yo, but they're blue light lenses, you did. Those of you that are dumb and don't know what that is, it helps with like UV rays and like, you know, computer screens.
I'm pretty sure it's meant for just computer screens.
And UV rays, you did.
Are you positive about that? No. All right, so we got all of the bolts out, and we're using 2 jacks now just because of the way that this subframe is. But there's 2 bolts holding it in that just have slight pressure, just to make sure that everything didn't fall out. So we're gonna take, or nuts actually. So we're gonna take those 2 nuts off, and then everything should drop down, and we should be able to slide it out, huh, Phil?
Dude, that sounds like a good plan to me.
Yeah, you pumped on being stoked, or stoked on being pumped?
About being hyped.
Oh, that's a lot of hype. that's a lot of pumped on hyped. Yeah. Subframe's now finally out of the car, thanks to your boy Phil for helping me out.
Yeah.
But yeah, super stoked. Definitely, like I said, this thing is absolutely disgusting, so it needs to be cleaned off and washed down, but it is getting pretty late, and I really don't want to like bother the neighbors. We probably shouldn't have been using that impact at like 9:30 at night. What do you have to say?
I have a question for the viewers. Check this out real quick.
No, we're not talking about this.
Yeah, we are.
No.
Phil here
he
is
doesn't.
saying that this car has rear steer.
Yes, I am. And if anybody else has an FC, please tell him that he's an absolute idiot and that this car does have rear steer. Okay. And then we're not looking. We don't even look at the subframe.
No, we need to look at it.
No, we don't.
No,
because I need to continue my video to the next day. So, like I just said, it is getting pretty late, and I don't want to mess with the neighbors anymore.
We'll continue this tomorrow.
We'll continue this tomorrow. We'll figure it out. We bet $5 on it if this car has rear steer or not. So he's gonna owe me $5.
Looking at it.
What's up, everyone? It's the next day, and time to work on the FC and get this thing done. So I have everything pulled out right now, or at least the rear subframe part. So we're gonna spray this down with some spray 9. Dylan's gonna hook it up with a bottle of that, pressure wash this, and then I can start working on getting these bushings out. Not exactly sure how I'm gonna do it because I know you're supposed to use a Sawzall, but I don't have one. So maybe I'll go pick one up, but I really don't wanna spend the money. So I'm gonna get this done and then worry about the bushings later. The subframe is now all perfectly clean and everything, and the way I'm gonna get these bushings out right here is I'm gonna use some MAP gas and burn them. There's other methods, but I'm gonna try it. I've never done it before, so I need to go get a metal pan that I can put under the subframe so it doesn't get all over the ground and everything. So I'm gonna head to O'Reilly's and get that, and then I also ordered some new axle boots because these things are absolutely trash. So in one of the upcoming videos, I'll show you guys how to rebuild axles and get this thing looking all proper. And then Dylan's over here working on his 3.6.
Oh, you betcha.
How's it coming, Phil?
Not too bad, Terry.
You getting all dirty up in there?
I'm ready to drive this thing, dude. I'm tired of working on it already.
I don't know if you guys remember, but a while back, I actually filmed a video on Dylan's BMW, and he hasn't had a second gear in probably, what, like a year and a half? Something like that?
Easily.
Yeah, for sure like a year and a half. So he just put a new ZF trans in there, so now he can slap second gear and not have to worry about it popping out or anything. And then we'll both be sliding our street cars, so that's gonna be pretty fun. Just got back from the auto parts store, so these are these plates that I was talking about just because I don't want to make a mess all over the ground, which hopefully I don't, but we have the pressure washer, worst case scenario. Now you can see all the bushings are all lit up and everything. It's kind of hard with the light, but they're definitely all on fire, so I'm gonna let these sit for, I don't know how long. I'm probably gonna look it up and see how long I need to wait, but probably I would say at least like 20-30 minutes. Make sure it cooks all the way through, so then it's just that much easier to pop it out. But yeah, so it's making progress, and like I said, I've never done this before, so hopefully it all works out. So I'm obviously having some difficulty with this. I got the center one out, and the way that I did it was I grabbed this flathead after I like burnt it, made it all hot, and then like punctured holes in it since I don't have a drill, and then just moved it around. So the center came out, and then I think I'm going to have to get a Sawzall to be able to get through this like outer, I don't know, press fit thing. And I'm probably gonna have to do that for all of those. I tried doing it on this one right here, the same thing, but I wasn't able to burn the bottom side, so the flathead or like the screwdriver won't go all the way through. So I'm probably gonna have to flip the subframe over to get these two front ones off. I got all of these center pieces out, like it's a little metal insert where the bolt goes through, and then now I'm burning the rest of the rubber that's on there, so then I can just hit it out with a screwdriver and then try and clean it all up and make sure it's all ready for the new bushing. So I was working on getting the last piece of the bushing out of the subframe, and I thought I was gonna have to use a Sawzall like I was saying earlier, but these two pieces from Mazda actually come with like little slits in them. On 350Zs and stuff, you have to cut them to be able to make this pop out exactly how it came out. So got this one done over here. I'm gonna do that one on that side. All that I have left to do is these diff bushings and that diff bushing right there. Alright, so I'm having some trouble with this these last two bushings on the top of the diff. They were not as easy to pull out as this one because this is steel and these are like aluminum collars and I don't want to mess these up. So I need to get a Sawzall to be able to get those out and I do not have one right now. So I'm going to continue this probably tomorrow or the next day. So this is going to be part one of doing all solid bushings in the rear end. It's definitely time consuming and very hard. It's not easy at all, but I think I'll have it done pretty soon and the car will be feeling super solid. So thank you guys for watching. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that subscribe button and I'll see you guys in the next one.